I don't think that is not a normal thing for appointees. So if you think that you are going to be appointed and it's going to be ready. Understand?
Thank
you. Speak.
Yeah. It out.
20 minutes and
you see, so I beg you, the time you gave me some, because I'm even in government, so I have even the right to even tell you what my government. Because she's look.
Wrap up for me.
We have offices that they even set up. Offices that were taking salaries. This committee is not even taking salary from Ghanaians. Jankuruma's office, is it creative art or something? They didn't have any mandate. They didn't have any article or any whatever backing them. But that office had been working all this and they take salaries. They didn't have office for their workers, so. But they were paying people. So if you want to talk of, so some of these things, don't we have the right as Ghanaians to even look into it? So please, the MPP, we don't care whether they want to appear at any...
You say they've got no moral standing to actually issue...
At the right time, we were in this place where somebody puts air conditions in his house like a morgue. When we spoke about it, the president told us that those people, they are always right. They don't do... We had President Lomote with us, always clearing his appointees because he doesn't want to dent his image. But unfortunately for him, if he had allowed whatever was going on, he has listened, he wouldn't have gone down in history as the worst president ever in the history of this country, in the Fourth Republic. So MPP, they should be rest assured. Ora will do its work. Nobody will stop them. But the right things will be done also. If they have to take them to court, the Shraj will be working, the Iyoko will be working. Every institution that have the mandate to, what's the name? Investigate, will do. Because at the end of it, this cathedral will go into it. It was not Honorable Kujeto who took the complaint to Shraj. Well, in this country where Shraj will tell you that if you don't bring me any complaint, there is no way. So they don't hear evil under the MPP. So we want to see if under the NDC they will hear evil, they will see evil. Because for me, if people hear and see and talk about it, it helps the government rather than keeping quiet. But under us, all these agencies, under the MPP, all these agencies told us that they do not or didn't hear evil. They didn't see one. They did not even hear the speculation. They were always waiting for people to bring them the evidence or whatever report or whatever allegations that people had. So we want to do that for them. We don't want to waste the time of Ghanaians. We are serious. We have 4 years. We have 4 years as a party to prove to Ghanaians that we did not come as usual to come and babysit the MPP because they are micro minority and now they want to show everybody they are around. They are so missing that they don't even, they are just
we saw them active yesterday in the press. They're not missing in action. Let me move on, please. Thank you for that. We'll talk more
ranting
about this. Susan, I'll come to you. Would you say that the constitutional mandate of citizens to report corruption strengthens the Orals case? That's one thing. And also, what do you make of the optics? Yesterday, the NPP issuing that presser. What do you think it communicates to the general Ghanaian populace?
Oh, well, I mean, like she said, micro-minority, so wanting to be relevant. I'm sure press conferences will be the order of the day. I mean, I'm sure they have decided that any little thing that will happen, they will come and whine to that.
That is the work of the minority, Susan.
Well, okay, so they would come and, have press conferences every day and be putting
things in. They've got to keep government on its toes.
There are ways of keeping people on their toes that is meaningful and constructive and helps this country to grow. There's a way of also in the name of keeping people on their toes, where you are more of a nuisance and a disturbance, you understand?
What category are you putting the NPP minority in?
We live to see. They've started. Let's see how it goes.
On what note have they started? Nuisance or otherwise?
No, so let's see. It will build up. I mean, you cannot take one instance and say you're a nuisance. It has to go. And like I said, there are years to go. We are in early days yet.
Sure.
And we will make a judgment of whether they have been constructive and they have helped this country to grow, or they are just a nuisance. So we will see. You understand? Yes, but there are micro, like somebody said, even if the NDC divided themselves into double track, there will always be a minority in you know, they want one shift, there will be a minority, another shift, there will be a minority. So it's important that they would want to be seen. But let's give it time to see whether they will be constructive or they will be destructive and not help this country to grow. In terms of oral, I'm looking at it and I think you have investigative journalists. Do they need a mandate from the president? Do they need, I mean, you know, investigative journalists take an issue up, they go, they investigate, and then they bring out the facts, isn't it? I'm looking at the mandate of oral. It says, preparatory framework towards President Mahama's anti-corruption drive. Preparatory framework. It says evidence gathering, and then transitional arrangement for whistleblowers. For my mind here, they are not doing anything that any citizen group, can do, or any think tank can do, or any investigative journalist can do, or even anybody can decide that, look, I want to take it upon myself to fight corruption in this country, and I will prepare the framework for it and present it to the legal authorities. The fact of the matter that they are not a supposed legal body or they are a non-legal body doesn't make them an illegality.
So you make that distinction?
No, we need to make that distinction. Sure. Because look, if you tell me that I have committed a crime, there must be a law to prosecute me, isn't it? If there's no law, how do you prosecute me? You understand that you can't. If you say that I have committed a crime. So what crime have they committed and what makes them illegal?
So by extension, what you're saying is that then maybe you should tell us what makes this team illegal.
Yes. You understand what makes them? They may not be legal, non-legal, but they're not an illegality. You understand? If any citizen or any think tank can take upon this mandate to prepare a framework that will be presented to the legal authorities to go ahead to do. I mean, look, we always complain that maybe the Attorney General's office, or we don't have enough policemen, or we don't have enough people to, or they don't have enough of a budget to do the work that is required to get the investigations the same. If you have somebody that is helping you, that is putting something into place, you understand, unless they are going to put falsehoods out there, but which I doubt very much. I mean, if you look at Mr. Domelevo, please, this is somebody who has had a reputation of being strict, of being a proper Auditor General. When they were pushing him out, was it on allegations of corruption, or they said that he was overaged and that is why and even that one, it was a retirement issue, and even that one, when he took it up and took it to court, we found out what he was vindicated, wasn't it?
That's right.
But nobody said he didn't take him for inefficiency, he didn't take him. And if anybody understands auditing is investigative work. You understand? You investigate processes, you understand, to see whether process. So this is a person who has that kind of skills. Of course, you have COP Boache with them, who is a policeman, so I don't need to go on about it. And you have the lawyer, and of course, we know Honorable Okudzeto has been, looking at things and bringing things out.
In fact, leading the charge.
Leading the charge of many things that you hear him speak about. The important thing is that they said that it's evidence gathering. That evidence will be sent to the appropriate authorities. The appropriate authorities should be able to sieve out what is prosecutable, because you can have evidence that you can take to court and will be thrown out for not being properly gathered. You understand? I mean, in the court of law, you can put evidence, but if it's not, the procedure in gathering that evidence is not proper, it will be thrown out.
Now,
unless somebody tells me that is not true.
Because Doc had also mentioned this, by the time that sometimes these issues would have gone to court, or the appropriate bodies, and the truth would have been unraveled, sometimes we'd have put out some some allegations.
So those are some of the cautionary things that the oral should do. You understand? They should be aware of people's privacy in terms of that. They should be aware of that they themselves are accountable to people if they take up this job. So they should be sure. They should make sure that there's confidentiality. You understand? So, you know, they talk about transition arrangement for whistleblowers. Those whistleblowers are entitled to their own privacy and confidentiality. You understand? You must keep their confidence. You must, and of course, the people that you are investigating, you must ensure that you don't tarnish their reputation before, because even that harms your case. You get it. You don't want to trial people in the media and harm your case, because that also happens. You get it. So it is in oral's own interest to make sure that the work that they do is quite silent, okay, and they are able to do it in a proper manner. These are things that they must take care of. You get it. But nothing stops them from doing that. Look, sometimes it's good to have an informal body. This is a country where when you even ask people sitting here that they should give you feedback on something, most people are reluctant. If you took 10 Ghanaians off the street and you ask them to give you feedback on something, they are very, very reluctant. But if they had a much more an informal body where
less intimidating,
you know, a smaller group of people, and then they don't have to go through the bureaucracy of going. Look, if you say you were going to a police station to report something right now, the hoops that you, even somebody has crashed into your car, the hoops in which you will, that's why most people give up. You understand? Most people just give up. And it's not that they are wrong, but they feel that it is too much of an inconvenience to go to the police to go and report something. Because you will go through that kind of bureaucracy and you say, is it even worth my time? But if you have a, to quote, informal body, and they don't have to jump through that bureaucracy, people may be more forthcoming with information that they may not necessarily take to the authorities. So, you look at this arrangement for whistleblowers, and of course, you know, people are afraid that they come and blow the whistle and they may not get the kind of protection that the whistleblowers law or whatever gives to them. And so they will prefer again to go to this thing. But another thing that I was looking at, this was a country, I think, I got text messages. They said, what, if you see something, say something. Go to our, you understand? We want to encourage people to, when they identify wrongs, you understand, to be able to say something. You understand? That we must encourage that. Yes, there may be, as somebody says, witch hunting. If you're a witch, you have to be hunted. It's as simple as that. I mean, I don't have any...
So it doesn't, you're not concerned about persecution? Witch hunting?
Witch hunting. If you're a witch, you must be hunted. But look, the issue is, we don't want innocent people to be caught up in this thing. And even in the proper investigative bodies, sometimes innocent people are caught up in it.
You say it's par for the course.
No. Are you listening?
I'm listening.
Even in the proper bodies, sometimes innocent persons are caught up. Oral must have this at the back of their minds, okay? That as much as possible that they want to right wrong. Sometimes it is important to let 10 guilty people go than prosecute one innocent person.
Right.
You understand?
I understand.
And so we must have that also in the back of our minds as much as possible when we want to do some of these things. And we would hope that they would take that into consideration, that people have worked hard for their reputations. People have, that may be all that they have. And so anything that comes to them, you know. But let us also not put falsehood out about the oral. that they are compelling people to come. No, because, you know, no matter how much you put out falsehoods, it doesn't become the truth. They haven't compelled anybody to come to anywhere.
Right.
And then even if they did ask you to come and you refuse to go, they cannot compel you to come.
Right.
You understand? Yeah, I mean, even if they invited you and you said, no, I'm not interested in coming, they can't do anything about it. That's all. But what they can do is to present that you don't want to go and give yourself a chance to face your accusator if they call you that, oh, this is what we've come, can you come and give us the side of your story? And you refuse to go. That is your chance to go and face the side of your accuser. But if you choose not to go, why? They can pass that information on to the police or to NIB or to ECO or you understand? And they then may compel you to come and answer. So we you know, the MPP and people who are, they still have the choice to go or not to go, and the choice to face the accuser or not to face it. They say the important thing is oral is here. They are not going away. They are going to gather the evidence as their mandate gives them. They are going to put a framework for the anti-corruption that President Mahama wants to drive. And of course, they give whistleblowers a safe space to come and talk. Important thing, they should look at it in terms of privacy for people. There should be fairness. There should be integrity in the work that they do. They must be independent and not be influenced by anything. And of course, they must be responsive to criticisms and take that in good faith and see how they can get better in executing their mandate.
Certainly. Susan, thank you for that. Because you also mentioned the Whistleblowers Act, Act 720. I'm only summarizing here. If you see any crime or civil wrong, you can choose to go to the police. In fact, there's a long list. You can go to a chief, you can go to your member of parliament. There are many different places, many different avenues that you can go to. So for many, they believe that the oral committee is just another add-on to that list, and they're doing what the act says. Nanaya, I'm coming to you. Thank you for your patience.
20 minutes.
Is that enough time to share your thoughts with us?
I'm writing it down. You know,
oral.
Let me say good morning to your viewers and good morning to my sisters, my auntie and my sisters. Yeah. You see, the MPP, they should be happy that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has been magnanimous to set up an oral. If they had taken them to BNI, they wouldn't have had the temerity to do press conferences. The walls of BNI are solid brick walls. When you enter there, then you know you are somewhere. He has set up a body, and you are not even interfaced. You are not called. They are just asking that bring evidence that you are aware. And I believe the people on the committee, they are credible enough to know what is falsehood and what is truth. What the MPP is saying, they are mixing two different things just to create chaos. Because when you talk about people taking away cars, seizing vehicles and other items, different from oral. Oral is a fact-finding committee. Is it wrong to have a fact-finding committee? And when the president sets up a fact-finding committee and you don't go, do you get me? You have disrespected the president. Because he's an executive president who has executive powers, can set up institutions with his executive mandate. So he set up oral and he thinks that this is what has to be done to collect evidence. You think the president is not mindful of the fact that if it is not done properly, there will be some excesses. He's aware. So that is why he has just decided that this is a fact-finding committee. What is illegal with a fact-finding committee? A committee that is fact-finding. Me, I can set up a fact-finding committee in my office, in my home. If something of mine gets lost in my house, I can set up a fact-finding committee in my house to find out who took this. Do you understand? Sniff around and get information. Which of you children took my something? So, there's nothing wrong. You don't need an ally to set up a fact-finding committee. When even the vice president set up a committee of inquiry, Emil Schultz, it was set up by the vice president. Was it backed by legislation? But whatever results they got from there was binding, right? Everybody knows what was said. Do you get me? The president said these people are going to collect information.
Right.
If anybody has evidence to the effect of corruption, bring it. Bring it to this team so that it is well organized, there is sanity. Because there are times, I have an experience that one person is taken to BNI, the same person is taken to Yoko, the same person is taken to CID.
You have that experience?
Yes, one person. Do you get me? So when the oral puts the things together, they would know which one is an organized crime, which is crime that is for CID, which is crime that is for BNI. Some are crimes, some are corruption. So they will sit down and do that, so that it does not turn into a situation where one person is persecuted and taken to all these places. Do you understand? There's nothing wrong with oral. I don't know why they are shaking and their knees are wobbling.
You say they are shaking and their knees
are wobbling.
The NPP says that they just want things
then they should
to be done right. Procedurally,
you see,
that the oral committee should be refined. What do you make of that?
Why? What are you talking about? It's not
so that
refined.
Their mandate is clearly defined.
But their mandate is clearly defined. Look, you said they went to somebody's land.
That's right.
That is even great. I was happy they went there.
They said it's part of their validation.
Yes, and they went with the police. I saw the pictures. The police were with them. If somebody says that somebody has bought government land, for me, I am against the sale of government lands.
You're against that?
Yes, because I always say that those lands are preserved for government and the people of Ghana. Public servants living in those houses, that is their accommodation. Why buy it and give it to a private person who has the opportunity to do business and make money and buy their own elsewhere? Do you understand? But they have been selling them. And even where Kwame Nkrumah had an agreement that the first Laboni, second Laboni streets, that those places should not be sold. And no government ever touched it. Even when the redevelopment plan by all the governments came up, the infilling and all that, they said those two lines, first Laboni, second Laboni street, no government should sell it. I lived in one of the bungalows and nobody sold it. Today, go there. They have sold almost everything to themselves. And sometimes, even when you are in your house, they will come and ask, when are you retiring? If your retirement is 2 years away, they eject you from the place.
This is something you have knowledge of?
I used to live there. That is the area I lived for most of my public service life. Do you get me? I used to live there. I have people around. I have a neighbor, somebody who he came home and his house has been razed down, all his goods, everything gone. Nobody told him that he should take his things out of the house. Do you understand me? So these are some of the things. So if they get a distress call from a group of people saying that some people have come here, they want to take our land, our accommodation where we sleep. And they go to Oral, and Oral says, let's go and see what is going on there. Is that wrong? Oral hasn't confiscated anybody's car. Neither have they confiscated anybody's land. Fact finding, they just want to verify to be sure that what they are doing is good. Look at the people on Oral. I don't think anybody will be untoward in the way they do things. But you see, MPP, they are okay. They should have taken them to BNI Street And when you enter that place, then you know what this world is like.
When you enter, what will you see?
That's what I'm telling you. If you enter there, then you know what this world is like. You see, they have been pampered and they have a fact-finding aura. They should have been taken to BNI direct.
So what did you make of that presser when you...
It is mostly unnecessary. They should start licking their wounds and to see the problems in their party to resolve it, because we don't want a one-party state. Other parties will come up. We are in a multi-party democracy. The way they have lost the election, they should stop talking. It is very unnecessary. It is inconsequential. Nobody has invited anybody to oral. Have you ever heard that somebody has been held towards oral? Have you ever heard that they've called somebody to ask questions? I don't know if their spirits are in the papers in front of oral.
Maybe there's some intel that the NPP has that we don't have. Because as you mentioned, I don't know that
somebody
has been called.
I am saying that,
but they are preempting that could be
their own crimes.
Seriously.
They are preempting their own corruption. You see, my dear Ellen, me, I have been a victim of persecution, so I am very careful when I'm talking about corruption. Do you get me? I'm very, very careful. I'm very careful but the way they are behaving, it is so clear. Everything they say is oral. You see, you are telling us nothing will be found. So go. Me, I went everywhere. You are saying nothing will be found. You see, there's a blueprint though. When MPP came to power, I don't even know why. When MPP came to power, they started investigations from 2009 at His Excellency Asamoah's time to the time of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, 2016. Forensic audit. You see, if they don't want oral, the government can go the forensic audit way. There are audited reports there. Do you understand? His Excellency Mahama is being nice, Kra. He's made it soft. He's made it soft. 2009 to 2016, Honorable our Safo was in charge of that exercise. Mm-hmm. And people were investigated in a manner that you could not just wrap your head around it. In a manner that sometimes you look at some of the things and you say, what is the meaning of this? You haven't even been called anywhere. You have not tasted BNI, have not tasted Yoko, you have not tasted CID. Just fact finding and you are shaking. Why should you shake with oral? It's fact finding. No? It is even you see, the people on oral, they are very seasoned people with COP Kofi Boakye. COP Kofi Boakye, if something is a falsehood, I believe he can easily recognize it. Good morning, Kofi. That's my brother. He can easily, if you know him, he can easily, even if you are talking to him and you lie. Sometimes he tells me, Nanaya, this one, dear.
You say he's got that experience.
He's got that experience. I'm telling you. I mean, you have to know him. Even when you lie, he will tell you that, Nanaya, this one, dear. Do you understand?
No, I even lie.
Sometimes you go around, not lie as lie, but sometimes you tell him that, oh, Kofi, I'm coming to see you, visit you, and you go, then you say that, oh, I was with mommy or something, you say, and I had this one there. Do you get me? So, Honorable Ablakwa, you can't say that when, especially him, you can't say that when he sees something that is not true, he would go with it. Mr. Dom Levo, Lawyer Pebu, you know Lawyer Pebu, we all know him.
Indeed.
Yes, because he will not, if it is not right, you bring something that they see that is persecution. I don't think they will take it on. That is why it's a fact-finding team. A fact-finding team, they will sift the truths from the untruths. And they will hand it over to whoever. I wish that the first point of call will be BNI. So they go and enter the place.
I wish I knew what you saw when you went there, because I think you've mentioned the NIB many times.
No, I am just telling you that, you see, they should enter there. They are lucky. They have been given soft this thing. They are on soft. They shouldn't do press conference.
Well, this is preliminary, isn't it?
I am telling you that it
could get hotter by the degree as it progresses.
No, you see the point is that now they are. You see, they've been given time to conscientize. But when you get up one morning, you enter your office or you enter your home and you get a letter that you should report at BNI, you've never been there before. This one, they've given them some soft thing to conscientize. So they should stop this press. They should rather think through their lives and see. They should rather gather their receipts and things, if they are innocent, and put it together, waiting to enter. Because this one, they are on soft ground, though. So I don't even know why they are shaking. Men are shaking.
You say they are shaking?
Yeah, of course, it looks like they are shaking.
They are jittery.
Everywhere, anti-jittery is nice. They are shaking. Everywhere they go, every opportunity, on the floor of the house, they will mention oral. Vetting, they will mention oral. Now you are doing press with this thing on oral. Me, I thought they will even talk about the arson going round, because they don't care about Ghanaians. So I always say, the arson going around the markets. The fires going around the markets. I thought they would rather ask government to do something about it, but like putting a committee in place with the fire service, maybe with one of the, somebody like Mr. Commander Brown Gazy.
Right.
Yes, the former fire officer. He's just great. He told me one day I went to see him, good morning, Commander. He saw the Kantamanto fire and he said, this one is arson. So we
should be shifting our attention to
some of this that affects the Ghanaian.
Right.
You guys, somebody like Honorable Sorogu is great. He was at the fire service as the fire service chair. So we should put some of these people together to see what is happening with the fires. So you should rather do press conferences on some of these things. Oral is affecting you, so stay put. Wait. Pray to God. Put your receipts together. See which one, if you are not part of it, you are okay. And see which one you enter, whether Yoko, CID, or BNI. Any one of them you enter. If you are also, you don't have a problem with yourself, then you're okay. Because persecution, what has happened to me, I don't want it to happen to anybody. If you are innocent, nobody should come after you because of your name or because of who you are. That one, it should not happen. But if you have done something wrong, you should go to the right place. So that is why the Attorney General will be put in place. Oral, whether they like it or not, whether law or whatever, Oral will do its work as a fact-finding committee. They have not invited anybody to appear. Do you understand me? And we all know. So if you say that Oral, if they call you, what are you preempting? Because nobody has called you. And they will not even call you. You are saying they don't have the mandate. So now, you see, 3 key positions immediately have come up.
Right.
Energy, we have a crisis. There's a minister, if the person is approved. Then finance, we have a crisis. Then Attorney General, we need to retrieve our money. If there is any crime, if anybody has taken money that is not for them, we should get it. But me, I believe in getting the money back than putting anybody in jail.
Really?
Yes.
So simply putting the money back. What about sending a deterrence?
No,
yes,
you see,
sending that message out so that nobody engages in it.
I was taken to court when I was in CPP for contempt. And I knew that I hadn't done that. But I was going through the process. And my friend, the lawyer, said that we should settle. Because even if I am given a bond, it is on my name as a conviction.
Right.
You get me? So, whoever has taken money, a conviction is a conviction. You might not go to prison, but you should be convicted.
You say it's a deterrence enough to have that attached to your name.
People have been going to prison and this thing is going on. It is not, I mean, if you can pay the money, we need money to build schools under trees. We need money to build clinics in far-off places in the northern, upper east, upper west region. People still are giving birth to traditional birth attendants. And if that child is a breach, then it means that that woman is dying. So we need money to build hospitals. Do you get me? A traditional birth attendant cannot deal with a breach. It deals with a normal birth. When there's a breach, immediately there should be some surgical operation to get the baby out. We need to build some hospitals, some medical facilities in remote areas, my dear. Sometimes you drive long distances from Tamale to Salga. And you ask yourself, if I get an accident today, I'll bleed to death because there's no life. Do you get me? There's no life. As you campaign, there's no life. There are long distances that you can drive. So we should retrieve whoever has taken money. We should take our money back.
We need it as a state.
We need it as a state. We should take our money back. That alone is we should name and shame and take our money back. And when you are paying the money, the cameras should be on you. Then as you pay the money, the court will give you the requisite conviction.
No, yeah, that's a radical approach. So as you go to return it, the camera is following you all throughout, and it's televised.
Yes, it's televised.
You TV3 to televise
yes, so that
the monies are here, crowd. Wherever we are talking millions of money.
Wherever they are, you bring it.
Susan and I will seem to agree with this televised thing. I don't know whether Doc agrees with that.
You see, that is why we have organized economic and organized crime units. Yoko will liaise with wherever your money is. If it is not money that you worked and saved, do you get me? And it's not your own, it can be returned.
Naya, permit me to read a few messages and then we can wrap up on this one. I'm not too sure we'll be able to get into our second topic of the morning. Okay, so this one is coming from Miss Fomenke. I'm not sure if I've said that right. She says, oh, okay, I have to redact this one. Robert Jarvis says, why are they afraid of oral? Oral must definitely work to save the properties of Ghana. In my opinion, all patriotic Ghanaians must welcome the oral committee. Oklu Nana Joseph says, 1, the NPP should be aware that Ghanaians have lost interest in their dramatic antics. 2, he says, is the NPP implying that citizens or groups gathering information on any subject is a criminal offense? 3, the team's terms of reference are straightforward, collecting information from the public and other sources regarding suspected corruption cases. Simply put, it is fact-finding. And also, channels for submitting information to the team have been made publicly available for individuals with relevant information. Is the NPP suggesting that the team shouldn't verify and validate the information they receive despite being tasked with gathering information? And also, last one here, Joseph says, the NPP needs to understand that modern Ghanaians can see through these tactics. And thank you to everybody that's on the stream watching us, sending through your messages. Over 300 messages coming through. You're all very animated this morning. Nana, you have a lot of fans this morning. They say they're happy to see you this morning. They said good submissions as well. But we'll wrap up on this one. Sadly, we can't get into the issue of the National Cathedral. I mean, it's an ongoing one, I'm sure. In due course, when we know more as far as the OSP's probe is concerned, we'll be able to... The old one.
Oh, he's still there.
Yes, Nanaya, do you want to ask?
I just want to be sure.
Okay.
But was he not around when it was going on? Why didn't he investigate it? When we were all talking, complaining and saying that there's a problem. So I just want to find out whether he's the whole...
Doc says Shraj has only concluded with their reports.
And so, recommendations. And recommendations. Rule of law.
Rule of law. Doc says it's all about rule of law.
You don't want to live in a jungle where populism wins. It seems like that has been on display a lot on this.
No, but they do. You see, when they start like this, and we can, and you don't know what
populism made you lose.
I mean, seriously, no.
But we have to live with it. It is our choice.
2017.
We made the choice.
What are they talking about?
I mean, no. I mean, she wants to insult us, but we are okay.
You don't want to talk. What is she talking about?
Come before the election.
What are they talking about?
Not even humbling.
That should be humble. Do they know how they treat us?
Some people went to quell the fire.
Just throw. This is their posture during the election. And that's lost miserably.
What are you talking about?
Not just during the election. This is their posture nature.
What are you talking about?
No, please, I beg you.
Nanaya.
No, I mean, because
why do you say that?
The populism and the issue is that we all have opinions. No,
what's that?
We all have our opinions. You understand? if you want somebody to respect your opinion, you respect other person's opinion.
But you define what populism is.
The people of Ghana have made their choice. Let me say something. It's a legal maxim. This legal maxim says, everything which is not forbidden is allowed.
Yeah, sure.
It is a concept that any action can be taken unless there's a law against it. It is also known as the general body or a person being regulated is acknowledged to have competent judgment of their scope of action. Oral has been given a certain time to do. The president has judged them to be competent. So he has given them a scope to work within. Let them work within their scope. Let them do.
Thank you to my panelists this morning. Nanaya Achimtim Jantwa, CPP former General Secretary, joined us this morning. Also a very big thank you to Susan Edu Amankwa, member, Alliance for Revolutionary Change. Also Dr. Ekuya Amwako, NPP Communications team member, and also Awo Edubia Kekeli, she's part of the NDC's communication team. We'll pause now. When we come back, there's a lot more right here. Remember, we're cashing out as well. *439#. We will be right back.
This one, nobody was giving floor.